Hi, my name is Russell Holtz, and in this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to create a lesson for the flight school in Condor 2. There are 6 steps to this process. First, you set up the scenario. Then you fly the scenario, save a replay file of the flight, edit the replay file and save a screenshot, move the replay file into the lesson folder, and then create a lesson description. For this demonstration, I'm going to create a lesson that allows a student to practice crosswind landings. The lesson will start with the student on final. I start out by opening Condor and then clicking on the Free Flight button. We're going to start from scratch, so click on the New button to create a new task. You'll need to define a task by selecting the starting airport and then, at a minimum, a start and a finish point. For this lesson, the only thing that matters is the starting airport, so it doesn't matter what task I define. Next, you need to specify the weather conditions for your flight. Here I'm going to set up a crosswind of about 10 knots, and I'm going to set the turbulence level to light. I'm going to leave the thermals on the default settings, and the same thing for the wave and the high cloud settings. For the plane, I'm going to choose the two-place glider, the Duodiscus. I then use the NOTAMs tab to set various other parameters for the flight. If I were making an aerotow lesson, I'd make sure to set the rope length to around 200 feet, but in this case, I'm going to start out airborne. I'm going to change the height to about 1,000 feet, which will give me room to set up the glider on final. Initially, the glider will start out directly above the airport I choose in the task. I don't need to change any of the other settings on this page. If I wanted to include ghosts in the scenario, I would select them here. Now I go ahead and start the flight. Now I need to get the glider in the position where I want the scenario to start. I'll be editing the replay file to start at this point, so I can be pretty aggressive in getting the glider into what will be the initial position. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through this part of the flight. This right here will be my starting point. In this case, I want the student to be able to see a demonstration of the lesson, so I need to fly the entire flight. However, if I just wanted to set the starting point of a lesson with no demonstration, I could go ahead and exit the flight here. And again, I'm going to fast forward through this part of the flight. After the flight is completed, I exit out of it and make sure I save a replay of the flight. I'm going to call it Crosswind Landing. Once I do that, I return to the main menu and then select View Replay to view and edit the replay file. I make sure that the replay I want is selected, and then I click View. I can use the replay bar here to skip forward until I'm at the point where I want the lesson to start. When the glider is in the position that I want, I click this button to clip everything before this point. I'm also going to take a screenshot here to use in the lesson description. If I just wanted the starting point without a demonstration, I could let the replay play for a couple more seconds, then trim and save the file using the other trim button, the one with the scissors and the square. But in this case, I want to demonstrate the crosswind landing, so I'll go ahead and save the rest of the flight in the replay. I then close the replay viewer. Now I need to open the folder that contains the replay file. It should be in your Documents, Condor, Replays folder. I then open the Flight School folder, open the Basics folder, and move my replay file into the folder. Of course, I could have also moved the file into the Intermediate, Advanced, or Acro folders instead. The screenshot I took will be in the Condor 2 Screenshots folder. I'm going to change the name of the screenshot to XW Landing and then move it into the Images folder inside the Basics folder. Finally, I'm going to edit a template I've created to make the description file for this lesson. I go into the Languages English folder where I've already copied my template. I've made this template read-only so that when I go to save it, it will prompt me for a different name. The name of this file must exactly match the name of the replay file, but the extension must be .htm instead of .rpy. I'm going to change this line to point to the screen capture image that I saved earlier as xwlanding.jpg. If you don't want an image to appear within your description, remove all the text within this red box. Next, I edit this line to be the name that I want to give to the lesson. I'm going to call it Crosswind Landing. The lesson description text will go in this area. If I want to have more than one paragraph, I could copy and paste this group as many times as I want, but for this lesson, I'm only going to use one paragraph. Here I'm going to put a really brief description in, and then save the file. The replay file was named Crosswind Landing, so I have to make sure this file has the exact same name, but with the .htm extension. And that's it. Now I can go to Lesson Plans, and there's my lesson. I can either view or try the lesson. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you found it useful.